Hello, my name is Bree, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel, Breezy Banter, the place where I talk about the things I want to talk about. In today's video, I'm doing a tag video that I found from Glitter Fallout's channel, and I'll include a link to her video down in the description box below. And it's about interviewing yourself. And I watched Glitter Fallout's video, and I really enjoyed it, so I figured I would do the same. I tend to really enjoy tag videos, so I thought it would just be fun. So the first question is, what is your name and what is today's date? So my actual name is Brittany, but most of my friends call me Bree. Some call me Brit. It tends to be divvied up depending on when my friends met me. So most of my older friends will call me Brit, whereas most of the people I met probably post like 2015 or so will call me Bree. I'm happy to go by Brit or Bree, or Brittany for that matter. What is today's date? It is January 15th, 2025. How old are you? I am 32 years old. What palette am I wearing in this video? And I am fresh-faced, so I'm not wearing any makeup in today's video. The fourth question is, what is something that you're proud of from this past year? And there are a few things that I'm proud of. So I think I started my Master of Engineering, which is a big undertaking and time-consuming and just requires a lot of effort, but it's something that I've wanted to do for a really long time, and I have support from my company to do it. So I decided to take advantage of that and just go forth. I'm currently enrolled in my third course. I hope to have it done by the end of the summer 2026, but I'm proud for taking that first step, for putting myself out there. There was always a chance that I wouldn't be accepted, but I went forth knowing that. There are a bit less specific things that I'm proud of from the past year. For example, I've mentioned before in some of my videos where I describe my goals, I wanted to do a sprint triathlon for a really long time. And last year I wanted to do one last year. And then certain things changed, certain plans changed, and then I wasn't going to be where I thought I was going to be at a time when I could have done a sprint triathlon, and then things just moved around, and then it just became like a big mess. And so I ended up not doing one last year. And I have a goal to do one this year. But even though I couldn't do that, I couldn't do a sprint triathlon last year, just given the timing and where I was and what I had access to during those events, I did do a 5K with my partner. It was really cute. It was really fun. We both trained for it together. It was just a lot of fun to be able to support each other in that way. And it wasn't even a negative per se that I didn't do the sprint triathlon. It was just, this was more of a alternative. And it was a charity run and everything, so it was a lot of fun. I also think there are chances that I took that former me really feared. For example, I spent about 3.5 months living with my now fiance, but I've never lived with a partner before, and I was pretty scared to do that. I think I recognize some, I'll call them shortcomings, but just some quirks about myself. I tend to really enjoy having a relatively strict schedule for myself, and a particular way in which I enjoy doing things. And I know if you live with someone, some of that control just you don't have it. There's somebody else that you have to take into consideration. And so I was just nervous about those quirks again, coming to the forefront, and I didn't think we would break up over it or anything. And my partner is very patient and much more relaxed and laid back than I am. So I think that also helped a lot. And I think he also understood the fears and concerns that I might have. I might say I want to do this thing by this point in time, and he would be well, why? Why is it such a big deal? And then when I would explain to him well, I need to do this other thing, and so I need to have this one thing done first, and when I backtrack it, it has to be done by this date. And he would be okay, I didn't realize that was the connection you were making, but that makes sense. all of that to say, I was very nervous about it, but it went swimmingly. Like, we got engaged during that time, so I think like that's about as good as it could go. So I'm just proud of myself for, that's something that I hadn't done before. I was nervous about it and I took that risk. The next question is, what is your job and what do you love about it? So I'm a senior engineer and I work in nuclear engineering. And one of the things that I'm trying to think of the best way to speak to this at a high level. One of the things that I really love about my role is that there is a technical, obviously like I'm an engineer, there's a technical role that I must fulfill. However, because it's nuclear, there's a very clear link between technical requirements and regulatory requirements. And as part of my role, I have to make that connection. And so I just love I love being able to make that connection. I have to explain to regulators, like, we made this design decision and it meets this regulatory requirement because XYZ. And I just really enjoy doing that because it gives me exposure to not just engineering, but also like regulatory affairs, compliance, legal aspects, etc. And I'll also say that I love the people that I work with. Literally everyone that I work with is so kind, like literally the nicest people you could ever meet. They're so kind. Everyone is so smart and just so helpful. And I love my manager. It's all just like a very supportive environment to work in. So the next question is, how many followers do you have on YouTube and Instagram? So on YouTube, I have 18 subscribers, which is so cute. Like, it's such a baby amount. And then how many followers I have on Instagram? I technically have a Instagram account for this channel. That said, I haven't posted on it and I don't check it regularly, so I'm not even gonna bother. Anyone that's following me is most likely either a bot at this point, or if you are following me, then I'm sorry that I just called you a bot, but I just don't have any content there yet. What is my most viewed video on any platform? And my most viewed video is one of the perfume videos. I have a series about indie perfumes, and each video is like a deep dive into one specific perfume house. And so my most viewed video is the one that focuses on Alchemia, which is kind of interesting because I know Alchemia is like a very popular, it's a very popular house, but I don't think I would have guessed that it would have been the most popular. But hey, people like what they like, that's fine. Favorite makeup look this year? I don't know if I have a favorite makeup look this year, and I also don't document it all that well. Like, very occasionally, like, I'll send Snapchats to friends, and if I'm really liking my look, then I might save that snap. But for the most part, I don't document it, so I don't have an easy way to like go back and check. I think just like simple makeup looks that have like a bit of color on the eyes tends to be my favorite look for myself. My favorite outfit this year. Again, this isn't something that I document all that well. That said, there are a few different directions I could take this. There's like the dress that I was wearing when I got engaged, and I love that dress. It's so pretty. And that it's definitely up there because I think it was the first time that I had worn it as well. So it's also just unique for a variety of reasons. It's purple, like it's a lavender color. I'll include a picture of it. But that's probably my favorite outfit. That said, like, I like all of the clothes that I own. So it's really like, do my clothes make me feel good? And if the answer is yes, then I like it. And so it's kind of difficult to like pick out a favorite in that case. That said, what makes the dress, I suspect, my favorite is that there's like a special event tied to it. And less so like the actual clothing itself. The next question is, what did you eat today? I have not yet eaten. I probably will in about an hour. I'm gonna be making grilled cheese sandwich. Where did I travel this year? So given that it's January 15th, I haven't traveled anywhere thus far. I will be traveling to the Greater Toronto area in about a week. That said, I'll answer this question as though I was doing it in December 2024. So I traveled to Mexico. So Cancun, the Cancun area. I think it's Playa del Carmen. more specifically. I traveled to Chicago and nearby Chicago areas. I traveled to Calgary, Alberta, as well as surrounding areas. I traveled to Washington, D.C. and surrounding areas. And I think that's it. I'm like fearful that I've missed like one big international trip and I just like can't think of what it is. But I'm pretty sure those are the 4 places I've traveled this year. It's basically Calgary, surrounding area, Chicago, surrounding area, Washington, D.C., surrounding area, and then Playa del Carmen. What advice would you give to yourself a year from now? It's so difficult to answer questions like these because I think my real advice would be like, as I described earlier, I have some rigidity in the way that I think about things and the way that I tend to go about my day. And so the real advice that I would like to give to myself is like to relax, but that's just hard sometimes for one reason or another. So I think really my advice would be like, be gentle with yourself. If what you're doing is fine and getting you to where you need to go and you're not hurting yourself, it's fine. I don't need to have less rigidity. I just feel like I need to. And so I think instead of saying like relax, what I should say is like, it's okay. If it's working for me and I don't mind it, then continue on and be gentle with myself for acknowledging that. Who inspires you? This is a difficult question as well, not because I necessarily don't have answers, but there are a lot of people in my life who have done like extraordinary things. And sometimes I feel like, I don't know how to describe this, and this is gonna sound like very arrogant, I'm sure, but I know people who are, in some cases, like literally the best of the best in a particular element of life. And what that means is it just like skews my perception of certain things. And I try to like be aware of this, but in order to better answer this question, I'll say that my sister inspires me for a variety of reasons. I think she's someone that if she wants something, like she makes it happen. She will find a way to make it happen. And it's just kind of, she's very like matter of fact about it, where it's like, I kind of hemmed and hawed over getting my master's, right? But if she has her master's, and I think she was just like, I want my master's, I'm going to apply. Like, that's just kind of like the start and end of it. She doesn't do as much, I'm not sure of the right word, like hemming and hawing over things that I feel like I do. But there are so many other reasons as to why she inspires me. I think she just has like a really good head on her shoulders. She is older than me. And so that's also like, she's someone that I've looked up to for basically my entire life. But yeah, definitely my sister. What is the biggest thing to happen to you in social media this year? Again, answering for 2024, I'll say that I started my YouTube channel. Favorite movie? So I'm assuming they're asking like favorite movie currently and not in general, because I suspect that won't change. So the best movie that I've seen recently is Nosferatu, like the new one that came out. Really enjoyed it. I have another video, I'm not sure if it's gone up yet or not, about media that I consumed in Q4 as well as over the entire year of 2024. And that is one of the movies that I talked about, but I would say it's probably that one. Biggest regret this year. I am very much a forward-looking person in like everything. I try not to dwell too much on the past. Like I try to take the lesson that I need from a given experience and just move forward. So there are very few things that I regret, because it's also like I'm happy with where I am now, and the choices that I've made thus far have got me to where I am now. So like, how much regret can I really have? Which is not to say I'm not introspective, but I think I have a different relationship with regret that I think a lot of people do. The only thing I can really think is I wish I just would have done certain things sooner. Again, because of the way that I tend to think about things and can be a bit more rigid. I don't want to say I delay things, but I can just be like, okay, I can't do this thing until everything else is perfect. And I wish I just took life by the horns a bit more, I think. Again, I don't have like anything specific in mind. I just think that that's like a general thing that I could work on. Any trips planned for this coming year? yeah, so I am currently planning a trip. So none of these are set in stone just yet. Currently planning a trip to Italy in April. I'm potentially planning a sort of Nordic slash Northwestern Europe trip in August. Currently thinking Sweden, Norway, and Amsterdam. And then planning a trip to Chicago and surrounding areas in most likely August. And then I'll also be going to the GTA and surrounding area at least a couple times this year, probably twice. And then I'll go to Calgary and surrounding area at least once. Define my current style in 3 words. So, as someone who works from home full time, I would say my style is comfortable, practical, and maybe cute. I'm not sure if that's like quite right. I feel like I have like a lot of dresses that I like in my head I envision as being very cute. I wouldn't describe like what I have on currently as being cute, though I would describe it as comfortable and practical. But I think overall, anything that I wear fits into at least one of those categories, though I imagine the vast majority fit into 2, if not 3 of them. What is something you really want to do this coming year? I think like some of the things that I've already described are things that I want to do. For example, I really want to do a sprint triathlon. I would like to get married. I want to go to Italy. I want to go to Sweden, Norway, and Amsterdam. There are just like a bunch of upcoming things happening in my life that I'm really excited for. And so like I want to do those, right? What is your word for this year? And again, one word is kind of difficult to come up with. I've said before that I think of goals as sort of like guiding principles. And my goals aren't like one word. They're statements of things that I want to do or accomplish. And so that said, something that I think many people could work on, myself included, is gratitude. And so I think that is more of a emotional and mental state that I would like to explore, I guess. So I think my word for this year is just being gracious and having gratitude for the things that are in my life. Like I live a good life, so it wouldn't hurt me to be more appreciative of that fact. And although like I put a lot of work into everything that I do, I've also like luck is just a factor as well. And so I should appreciate the luck that has played into the role that luck has played in my life. So those are the 20 questions. I really enjoyed this, and I'm excited to see like if I do this video again a year from now, if I will have done the things that I wanted to do this year. Like if I do end up going to Italy and all of that, I think it will be fun to look back on this. So if you have a YouTube channel and you enjoy doing tag videos, I would definitely recommend that you do this one. I'll have the questions in the description box below, along with Glitter Fallout's video on the same topic as I mentioned earlier. And before you go, if you enjoyed this content, I hope you'll like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And before I go, I'd like to take a minute to thank you for taking time out of your day to spend watching this video. It really means a lot to me. Thank you.